Hey peeps, welcome to the next video I'm doing on DraftKings Reignmakers. I'm going to look in some week one, some projections and prices for the main slate on Sunday, which does not include the showdown games. I'm going to do another one on the LA Rams Buffalo showdown game and some other stuff. See my other videos for some more basics about Reignmakers, and I do want to apologize if any information on those is slightly off or I misexplained it, because there is a lot to this, and I know some of you know this project better than I do, but feel free to review those. I'm going to try to go fairly quickly here. So just want to say sort of where we overall stand on this currently. And I'm pretty much talking all about the core level cards here. I'm going to be talking more about the rare and the elite and the legendary going forward, but I'm primarily participating in the core/common level at this point. Just taking a look where we stand, the Thursday single entry. Now you remember we're only over a week away from Thursday coming, so it's coming pretty soon. Currently they're showing 24,000 entrants. That's been going up on about 2,000 every day. That's primarily where people look to be putting their starter pack entry into. That has a pool of $10,000, a top prize of $1,000, and it pays out spots down to 4,100. So you're looking at like a 1 in 6 on that to get in the money no matter what. The Thursday showdown game, that's the Rams Buffalo, where you need 4 cards to enter that. And this is the core level. Again, the prices and all this go up for the rarity levels higher than this. 1,100 entrants currently is what they're showing. And I'm assuming DraftKings is updating these intraday. I believe they are. And I believe the numbers are correct, but possible they may be only updating them once a day. I'm pretty sure they are, because that one went up. That is a pool of $20,000, top prize of $1,000, and it pays 2,600 spots. And there's only 1,100 entries so far. The Sunday main slate, the one where you can enter as many times as you want, there's several contests on Sunday, but this is the big one, so to speak. I think it's called the Fiat. Has a $100,000 pool, top prize of $5,000. Currently, 5,100 are entered into this. It pays almost 20,000 spots out. Something, some of these only give packs of a card, I believe, as the prize for the lowest. Some are down to $3, things like that, but still. That's a big overlay going on right there, and a pretty big contest. Just showing where I'm at in my portfolio. I started on August 18th, so I was a little early, which is a good thing in this case. Early adopters tend to be rewarded, but we're still early is what I've been trying to tell people. Now, as we approach the games when the games actually start, I think prices are going to go up quite a bit. They may come back down a bit after those first games, but then you have upcoming showdowns and things like that that are going to boost certain ones. Injuries, players who top. Anyway, my portfolio, and I did not put it all in then. I did it over dribs and drabs. I haven't put any more cash in recently, but as I started liking this project more and more, I started selling some of my NFLAllDay and putting it over into DraftKings. I'm up 32% overall on paper. Just from packs alone, I'm up 20% on the cards from packs. Now, people have said that the pack buys are negative EV or negative expected value, but they are not overly so in my view. And I've bought the Superstar pack, which is a one-off, $9.99, basically $10, where you get 1 Superstar. You can only do it once. I bought Booster pack, where you get 3 cards for $20, and I bought Elevate packs, where you get 5 cards, and one of them is guaranteed to be a rare. And you can download this, and that's a limited set, like the Genesis one and the Field Pass ones that they've come out with so far. The Booster and Superstar sets, I believe, are unlimited. You can also download spreadsheets that show what in these packs, so you can see what you can get and what the odds are. I've sold 1 card for $11 profit. I am a flipper, but I want to play the game as well. So I set my prices quite a bit higher than what I paid for them. I'm also tend to be a bargain hunter, as I mentioned, and tend to be somebody who buys sometimes quantity over quality a little too much. The biggest marketplace buys, now it's not under the marketplace on this, it's under Reignmakers shop. They need to set together and fix the marketplace and Reignmakers tabs and combine them, as well as what they display for your cards and portfolio. But the marketplace is actually under Reignmakers shop. If you want to buy packs from drops, go to marketplace drops. The biggest gains on paper are plus $24, plus $8, plus $8, plus $6, plus $5. Only one of my marketplace buys is down over $1, which is down $2.50. My most recent buys have been A.J. Brown, Breece Hall, Aaron Jones, Cortland Sutton, Lamar Jackson, which is a superstar card, and Rashad Bateman. Okay, so let's take a look at week 1. Now, we're talking about the core Sunday games here, so it doesn't include the Sunday night, Monday, and Thursday night slate. The only site that I found that looked like it had looked like it was attempting to throw up accurate predictions already was RotoWire. So I'm just using their projections, and this is not predictions. It may change quite a bit before it goes. These may be inaccurate, but just to give you an idea. Okay, here's all the superstar cards. All of them have a projected fantasy points of 15 or higher. No projection for CD Lamb yet on there because that slate is not on there. Here you can see the prices and sort of a points per dollar ratio. Here are all the other players projected to get over 15 points according to RotoWire. Again, this information may not be accurate at all by the time the season comes, or may not be accurate now. You can see there's like 9 quarterbacks in addition to the 5 here. There's 7 running backs in addition to the 6 here. And there's 9 wide receiver / tight end in addition to the 6 here. Looking at the price to points ratio. Now the Stafford and Allen and the Rams and Bills are a bit out of line and possibly out of line on the projections, but definitely on the markets. They're higher because of the upcoming first game, that showdown I talked about. People are buying those up. Also because the Bills are a little overhyped in general. People are really high on the Bills, put it that way, and their fans are very, very enthusiastic. But I'll cover that more in the showdown video on that. But just looking here, the ratios sort of go down. They've actually got Stafford, Hurts. Sorry, they've got like Herbert, Allen, Lamar, Stafford, Mahomes, Hurts, Kyler above 23, and then there's sort of a next tier with Burrow, Rodgers, Lance, etc. down to Tua. But looking at the prices in the marketplace, I'm looking at the non-superstars separate because the superstar are going to have more supply. Okay, but first you can see here that Allen is very high relative to the other superstar ones, mostly because of that contest, partially because people love him, while Herbert is undervalued at $14 relative to these, in my view. Looking at the non-superstar cards, and these are limited amounts, some more than others, but you got to remember the amounts that they show on there aren't necessarily what's actually been issued. I meant to mention that with the Field Pass ones as well. It's hard to tell how many Field Pass are actually out there. I was quoting numbers that may have been higher than what actually is out there. And also you got to remember people own multiple cards. Some people are going to own a lot of various ones. The lowest ratio, on a real dollar basis, look to be Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and Tua, which a lot of people may not even realize are projected, at least on this site, to be sort of in the second tier for the first weekend. On the running backs, on the superstars, Eckler and McCaffrey look to be relative values, especially compared to Jonathan Taylor and to some degree Henry. Then you have Najee Harris and Cook. On the non-superstars, Kamara is the highest projected, but he is also jacked up currently. Now these prices change quickly, and $1 or $2 can make a difference, obviously, but he's currently the most expensive by quite a bit. The 2 bargains on this list are 2 that have stood out to me as bargains in general. People are not high on them, as John Connor and Chubb. So at $10, you're getting a good points per based on the first week thing. The tight ends, wide receivers, Kupp, Jefferson, Chase. But then if you look, somewhat surprisingly, if you think about it, Kelsey's actually the next one, and he's a tight end. So him and Andrews are sort of basically like wide receiver ones this year currently, where they're projected and priced. Remains to be seen what other weapons for them do. On this, Kupp is expensive relative, but again, he's in that showdown contest, so people have been buying him in advance of that. Jefferson and Chase are relatively cheaper, and people aren't very high on Debo currently, although I own one. On the side of the non-superstar, Diggs, again in that showdown game. Keenan Allen and A.J. Brown look relative values, as does Higgins on a real dollar basis, especially at $8. The reason these two are highlighted is I'm going to talk about stacks here in a second. So Higgins and Mike Williams from from LAC, and Higgins from Cincinnati are the only two on this list that basically are can be a three-way stack. Now there's obviously a lot of other stacks and combos and whatnots that you can do. I'm just saying what's based on RotoWire's projections. The Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and the Burrow, Jamar Chase, because remember you can only have one superstar going on, and Higgins ones are all look to be projected the highest. To give you an idea of some of the stacks over here, and again these prices are going to change, and this is based on week 1 pricing only, or projections only. Herbert, Keenan Allen, 44 points, $25. Herbert, Allen, and Williams 3 stack, 59.5 points, $36. Now remember, also you may own one of these already. For example, I got the Hurts out of the starter pack. Now I can't resell that for $25, but what I have done is added A.J. Brown and actually Devontae Smith to it. We'll see how it comes into play. But in particular, when you look at the fact they have Hurts projected this high and A.J. Brown projected this high. Again, I'm assuming these RotoWire numbers are at least somewhat, they look to be the only site I saw that had somewhat projections updated for week 1 DFS, DraftKings. And theirs are based on salary cap, but I'm looking at the real dollar cost of the cards here, the low floor cost. Allen and Diggs, $42, $54. It's again because this cup and this are in the showdowns where you can see prices are going to rise for cards in the showdowns. And so you may want to start looking ahead at the week 2 showdowns, which I mentioned in the last video. Also the showdowns coming up, which are Dallas, Tampa Bay, and Denver, Seattle on Sunday night, Monday night, because these prices are not really jacked up. Some cards are. Wilson and Smith are a bit. Dak and Lamb looks cheap, 16 and 10. But again, that's if you like those players and you think they're going to come in. Lamar and Mark Andrews, cheap, lower projection. Mahomes and Kelsey. See here, Aaron Rodgers. Now, I put Aaron Jones with him. That's not necessarily a stack, but they're both on this list. It could be, and there's a lot of question marks there. But Aaron Rodgers is a superstar, and Jones is projected. I really didn't do many quarterback running back stacks, pretty much quarterback, wide receiver, or tight end. Stafford and Kupp, high total. Cousins and Jefferson, another relatively good deal, looks to me. So you're talking like the Cousins Jefferson, the Jackson Andrews, and the Herbert Allen, or variations thereof. Then you get Burrow and Chase, another one that looks like a pretty good deal. Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. So those three are projected at 56.3. The LAC stack is projected at 59.5 for $36 and for $38. So that actually looks like a slightly better deal at this time. It's hard to understand why that Herbert's at that price. Possible just a blip that I captured because he's extremely popular and for this year and the highest projected for that week. And of course, you're going to want to look at matchups and all that stuff. I'm not really going into the week 1 matchups and all that at this point. Trey Lance and Debo, these are all combinations of a superstar and a not. Virtually all these have one from this list and one from this list or more. Okay. $23. That's the lowest price one so far. Tua and Tyreek Hill. Now, neither of those is a superstar, but they are on both this list, and that one is cheap as well, $27. Carr and Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is on the superstar list. Carr is not on this list. Projected about the same, though, as these two, as you can see, $25. Baker Mayfield not on the list. McCaffrey is. So if you wanted to do that, now he is a running back, obviously. Baker is $7 with a 16-point projection on, again, hopefully these projections are somewhat accurate So you're looking, that one's actually projected more than these, and $22. Dak and Lamb, we do not have projections yet, $26. Tom Brady and Mike Evans, we don't have projections yet. Assuming Mike Evans, the health of the Tampa Bay wide receivers needs to be monitored, $30. Russell Wilson and Cortland Sutton, $31. Geno Smith and DK Metcalf, $22. And again, that Geno Smith's gone up, went up a lot. I bought one dirt cheap and sold it. The Metcalf and Lockett, to a lesser degree, have been pretty cheap. You can see Metcalf here, $8. People are, so down on Seattle. Cortland Sutton, $9. Mike Evans, $10. Carr, $12. Mayfield, $7. Carr's almost at the 19 threshold to a projection. And you can see here the difference in the highest to lowest. In this case, it's actually 27, I believe, is the highest. So there's 8 points difference there. On the running backs, about 7 points there. But again, the non-superstar is also sort of its own separate category because you can only use one of these. And the wide receivers, really only 5 point separation there. Onto that. Just a couple of like examples of lineups from this that I pulled. I believe this is technically the highest projected point scoring lineup based on having a stack. Okay. Because generally you'll think a stack would, if it had a similar projected points, you would think the stack would come in a little higher. It's not guaranteed, obviously. It's actually Hurts and A.J. Brown, because neither of them are superstars. McCaffrey is, and he's the highest projected running back. Then the highest projected flexes are Kamara and Kelsey that are non-superstars. So that's actually the highest from what I could gather on here. $90 though is the prices on those currently, which is pretty pricey. Now this isn't saying you might have one or two of these already. For example, I had Hurts, and I actually have Hurts and Kelsey already, so I added A.J. Brown. Now I'm not necessarily going to add McCaffrey and Kamara. Just depends. Kamara is pretty expensive. People love him, and people are obviously in DraftKings from the past years when he could almost win you a contest by himself or guarantee a cash at time. One of the other highest scoring lineups, just to give an example of using different players, is the three. Then again, this is just projections. There's going to be a lot of, it may be very, very different. Herbert and the San Diego stack of wide receivers. Then look, Saquon Barkley is actually the second non-superstar. So Herbert's your superstar. Saquon's the second non-superstar running back projection. And then actually I went down to DeAndre Swift. Because Diggs isn't in that contest. So DeAndre Swift will be the next one. And that's 95 points. That's 2 points less than this, but it's $68 currently versus $90. And again, the prices are going to change and may change by the time you look at this. And on a points per, I believe that's the points per. Yeah, that's sort of like the points per, and the in this case the higher one is better. I'm not sure where I got that number from. F12, F14, F15. Oh, this is the stack value. This is how much the stack is projected, because in the other two spots is what you're going to fill in. Okay, this lineup is the cheapest lineup of those on there, with a stack included. So that includes Tua and Tyreek. And then the cheapest on here by position and running backs, and this is a non-superstar one. Okay, this is just the cheapest non-superstar one. Just to show you. So Connor, 17 points, $10. Versus Mixon, the same $17. Connor and Chubb have been cheap. Whether they're going to come in at that, who knows. Then actually Higgins, all the way down here at $8. Tyreek, kind of expensive, but just to show with the stack. And then Chubb is actually the next one at $15.93. He's above like Pittman and these guys on this ranking. So this is $55 for the stack, assuming you don't own any of them again. But that's predicted 83.6, so you can see there. This, I believe, is the highest projected total with no stack, or maybe running back led. I'm trying to think. Wait, why didn't I use that? I'm trying to think. This might be just the highest Jonathan Taylor one I could find, because they actually have McCaffrey above him. Oh, I think this was like the highest ones for their money and high without having a stack. So Hertz at $25, Taylor at 20. Yeah, because this is sort of the highest, I guess you could say the worst values without using a stack tech, but these are good players, obviously great players. A lot of people have Taylor the number one player overall, and he probably, it'll do extremely well. Barring an injury, Kelsey and Kamara. So there you're paying $104 for 95 points, roughly the same as this. And this one is actually $34 cheaper, $36 cheaper. Okay, here's just the Herbert Allen stack, again, which seems very cheap right now. Adding in Connor, Andrews, and Brown. That's AJ Brown. This is just looking for some of the possibly the cheapest stacked superstar lineup, value lineup. 93 points, $55. So this is cheaper. This is actually looks like the best bargain lineup. If you're gonna, depending on what your totals and projections are. Okay, you see, so this is 93 total, but it's $55, assuming you own none of them. That's 104. That's 68. Then just to look at the Bengals three-way stack, and I use different running backs here that are high totals, but I didn't want to use the exact same. But they're some of the highest. Aaron Jones, and Swift with the Bengals stack, $69, 91 points. Again, not a bad deal. Okay, so you can get an idea there of some of the prices and what to start considering for the week one lineups, how much they might cost you based on what you already have, where bargains are. Now, again, these prices are going to change, and there's going to obviously people not on this list that are going to come in the money possibly many, many times. But these are sort of the top tier guys and where their lowest core cards are going for. There can be quite a difference with the rare cards and the elite and the legendary cards, which I'll look at a little bit with the showdown guide I'm going to do next on the first showdown game, the Rams Buffalo. All right, everybody, have a good one. Thanks for checking out, and please use my referral code if you like the content. Put any comments or questions in the YouTube area. Thanks. Oh, man, what was going on?